Hello and welcome to a Supercoach 2023 video, players who I believe will be underpriced next year, part 1. I have about 20 names here, something like that, maybe 15, I'm not sure, but we'll go through that. And yes, I'm already thinking about 2023, I'm excited. I think about Supercoach 365 days a year, so it never ends for me. So Supercoach season might go for 5 months, but not me, it's 12 months for me. So we'll get into a few players and I'll speak about them. And yeah, should be good. So the first 9 teams. So start off with, in alphabetical order, my beloved Crom. So I have 2 players here. First one is Sam Berry. So generally in the midfield, he's priced at 87, but he's done 97 post buy. So in the midfield, what's that? High 400s, mid to high 400s. Say 470k next year. Probably want to be a keeper at that price, but there is a little bit of upside here, and he'll be the number 2 man for CBAs next year. Second to Laird, I would think. So we've never seen tackle numbers like this before, so want to monitor in the preseason. But yeah, to do 87 average in your second year is really, really, really impressive. But yeah, we've never seen a player that averages 10 tackles a game. So he's a very interesting fantasy prospect. So he's one that I'll watch in the preseason, but at least he should be underpriced. And the whole strategy next year, I think its value is going to be much more important, and wait for the mids to come down. We see in AFL Fantasy, a lot of them don't start any of the big mids. They wait for them to come down and then they pick them off. And we saw Moreira's Magic do that this year, and I think he's top 15 at the moment. So that strategy works. So if you can get players that are underpriced in the midfield, depends on what's available and whatnot. We'll have a look at that, but I think it will be a legitimate strategy. So see how Berry goes. The next player I have is a Jackson Haitley. He's priced at 70, but he did 100 average in the 3 games where he had high CBAs. He had a 4th game with high CBAs, but he tagged Cripps that game, so that was a bit odd, so they're not going to do that again. But I think the problem here is I don't think Matthew Nicks rates Haitley, so I think he can do 90 to 95 with CBAs, possibly even more. He's getting 30-35 in the sandful every week, but Coach doesn't seem to rate him, unfortunately. But yeah, he made 200 to 250k in Supercoach. I don't think anyone noticed that this year. So he can find the ball, but yeah, Coach doesn't want to play him. So that's tough one. So he needs a massive preseason, but yeah, a bit unfortunate. So we'll move on to Brisbane now. So Dane Zorko, priced at 83, did 109 last year. Too many injury issues for me, and I think he's going to be 34, so he's a no. Cam Rayner, priced at 68. So this year he was coming off the ACL, but had a good preseason. For me, he looks like more of a medium forward, a really good overhead mark. I think that's what his best position is, but I think the plan with him has always been to have him in the midfield. So one to watch. I haven't liked what I saw in the midfield so far this year. Just doesn't accumulate enough. So he's a no. Now this is an interesting one. Dev Robertson, 105 average in the VFL this year. Priced at 47 and should get a 20% discount, something like that. So he'll be 220k. He can definitely do better than that. And the selling point with Dev Robertson is Zorko might find another position, and Lyons is looking pretty cooked. So him and Ashcroft might be their new midfield, part of the new midfield makeup, along with Neil. Who've also got McLuggage, maybe Berry. Berry can kind of do everything, so that'll be interesting. So yeah, Zorko no, Rayner probably no, but Dev Robertson could be a cheap one for us in the midfield. Collingwood, so Nick Dacos priced at 93, and in his last 9, and I say last 9 games because he had that sore foot, and that was the game where his scoring started to spike, so I just assumed that he was playing through a sore foot and then came good. He's done 112 in the past 9 games. Obviously, he's playing down back, and maybe that continues. Maybe he goes into the midfield. But yeah, just a phenomenal fantasy prospect, young Nick Dacos. So priced at 93, he's going to play every game. Apart from that sore foot, he's been pretty durable. So it's interesting. What does he score in the midfield? I'm not sure, but I think they can keep him down back because he's just so good there. So we'll see his role in the preseason, but he's in my current draft for my 2023 team, but that's we'll need a lot more info to secure that spot, so we'll see. I do like Dacos though. Fantasy numbers were just off the charts. Better than Rao, better than Walsh, I think, something like that. The next player is Darcy Cameron, priced at 84, and he's done 98 average without Brodie Grundy. So 84 average is about mid to high 400s, I think. So 460k roughly there. The problem here is how much do they use Mason Cox? How much do they use Darcy Cameron in the ruck split? Because towards the latter end of the year, or the latter half, leading the end of 2022, as I muddle my words up, they've decided maybe they were preparing for Brodie Grundy, but the Cox has taken more of the ruck split a bit more often, whereas earlier it was Darcy Cameron taking up a bit more of the ruck split. But Grundy is being shopped around at the moment, and the rumours are that Collingwood are willing to pay $300,000 a year of his $1 million a year contract over 5 years. That's just journalists reporting that on Twitter. Nothing confirmed. But maybe if that happens and they trade Grundy, maybe they just say, Darcy Cameron, you're our number one man now. Cox is just a supporting ruck, I guess. But Cox I think he's a reasonable ruck. Not sure. I don't know if he's a good forward or not. Been a bit hit and miss over the years. So, maybe better ask Collingwood supporters on that. But yeah, price at 84. No Grundy. Done 98 this year. Could be a pick in the rucks because he's been quite durable. I think he's been taped up every now and then, but he hasn't missed a game since. And there's also, I think it was early in the year, there was also a concussion game, I think, something like that. So he's an interesting one in the rucks. So we'll see what happens with Grundy. And also Finlay McRae, I think he's going to be almost rookie priced. 90 average in the VFL this year. They've just chosen to develop him in the VFL, I guess, but a bit of work to do on the stoppage work from what I've seen at AFL level, but see how it goes, but could be a rookie for us. Moving on to Essendon. So Mason Redman, what's he priced at? I think low 90s, and he's done 121 post-buy if you take out the game where he got concussed. So he'll be 500 odd, maybe a bit higher than 500, and he's done 121 post-buy. So I don't expect him to do that 121 for the season. I think that's just unsustainable, but there could be a bit of upside here. Takes a lot of marks back there. I don't know what exactly, does he have to play lockdown every now and then? I think I'd have to ask Essendon supporters because I haven't taken a whole heap of notice of him, but I've seen the numbers and I've just seen how much that, how many marks he can take back there, and they give him the ball a lot and he runs and carries and does all that, so it's an interesting one. The next one is Darcy Parish. Darcy Parish is priced at 113. Did 118 last year. And without the concussion game this year, without the calf cork that he got this year, he's also 118. So, actually, last year, he was 122 last year, I think. If you take out the games where he started forward. So, 122 last year. So, potentially about 10 points of upside here for Darcy Parish. So, he can score very well. A low score, besides the injury game that he had, a low score of 97 for the year. And then everything else has been above 99. But yeah, really strong contested ball winner and clearance winner. He's their best clearance winner by an absolute mile. And yeah, I think he's come back. He's looked good since coming back from injury. So obviously he did have the calf strain that probably came from the calf cork that he had. We saw Tim English never had soft tissue injury like Parish. Got the hamstring cork and then did his hamstring. So do you count that as soft tissue history? I'm not too sure. Because it feels a bit more unlucky than just regular pulling a hammy just during a game while running or whatnot. So or extending the muscle. So yeah, I probably wouldn't hold that against him for durability too much. But yeah, he could be a good pick. Definitely underpriced for sure. For Fremantle, I have Sean Darcy, Big Shrek, priced at 100 this year. 118 last year. Now the problem is he's looked a bit out of form this year, not doing as much around the ground, although I think he's been a bit better the last few weeks, but the hit-outs to advantage have dried up, which is something that a ruckman definitely needs to hit that ceiling that he hit. Of course, sounds like Luke Jackson is almost a sure thing to go to Fremantle, so might have to throw that one out the window, throw that pick out the window, so unfortunate, but an interesting one. Moving on to Gold Coast, so I have two names here. Jack Bowes, priced at 63, did 82 in 2021. 84 in 2020 in the COVID year. So the interesting thing with Bose is he was set up to play a permanent midfield role in the preseason, and I can't remember, but he got a bad injury, kept him out for the most of the year, and he's looked quite poor. He's been sub, he's not best 22. Can't really find a position for him. He hasn't been given the midfield minutes. So one, is he actually good? And two, are they going to give him a permanent midfield role like they were supposed to? Because who do they have? I think they're going to give more minutes to Hollands pretty soon. Obviously got the three, Rao, Anderson and Took. They'll be the top three in the rotations. So an interesting one. Next I have, I don't know. We'll see how he goes in preseason, but because he can at least do 20 points extra than what he's done. So he's done it twice in the past, but yeah, he just needs to. Is he a good player? I'm not too sure. I don't know. Ben King, high talent though, could have gone top 5. I think he was a top 10 pick though. Ben King will receive a 30% discount coming off the ACL. He'll be about 200k, but the best he's ever done is 55. I think Max King, his brother, did 68 average this year. So I don't think there's enough scoring power and upside unless he just becomes a really good player off an ACL and just averages like 75 or something. But I don't really see it. I was looking at his scores from 2021. There's a lot of sub 30 scores in there. So yeah, he kicks goals, but doesn't really do much else from the numbers anyway. So yeah, I think he's a no. It's not like he's not Danaher or Curnow who did 75 plus in the past, and then we're playing for teams that were much better. Brisbane were better last year than whatever Danaher played at Essendon, and then Curnow Carlton. This is the best year Carlton have had in many, many, many years, but they still might not make finals. But we'll see. They're pretty close to it though. Another one from Gold Coast is Fiorini. So it just depends. I don't actually have his name here. I just remembered from the top of my head, but I think he's averaging the 60 somewhere. They don't give him the CBAs. I think he's on a lot of money, but it just depends on if a club wants to offer him or willing to take him on and then give him a midfield role. Because if you look at his VFL numbers, I don't have it in front of me, but I checked the other day. It is off the charts. It's like 130, 130, 130 non-stop. So yeah, he can really rack it up, and he'll be, if he gets a midfield role and opportunity, and you feel like the club will back him in like they did with Brody, or like Freo did with Brody, then he's an easy pick. But a lot of things need to go right for that to happen. He needs to get traded for a start. So we'll see. Geelong, I have nobody here. Maybe Tom Atkins, who's seen a bit of a spike. He'll be a mid defender, I think, but seen a bit of a spike in his scoring. I think he's still doing about 87 average, I think. Not a huge accumulator, but tackles a lot. So he still can get his 20 touches and 15, 25, anywhere between there, but more on the lower end, I think. More like around 18, 19, I think. So I don't think there's enough upside for him as a pick. I'm not too sure. See how he goes. See how he goes in the preseason. But he did play midfield as in the VFL back in the day. The final team I have here, our favourite team, GWS. I have 4 names here from the Giants. First I have is Jacob Hopper. Priced at 60, done 93 times and did 97 in 2021. Should get a 10% discount. So he'll be priced at around low 300s. If he has a good preseason, he might get traded. Sounds like GWS have salary cap issues. He'll be my first pick, just about. He just needs to look good and look fully fit. But yes, I'll pick Jacob Hopper at that price. No reason why he can't do 90 plus with a full preseason. Had multiple surgeries this year, a bit of trouble with his knee, I think. So we'll see how he goes. So Harry Himmelberg is the next one. Priced at 90, done 100 and, I can't read my writing, 112 since moving to halfback. Obviously the issue here is where is he playing, new coach, new game style. they get the ball in his hands. He takes so many marks. It's ridiculous. He takes kick-ins. He's got a booming, I don't know if he's a left foot or right footer, but a booming kick, penetrating kick, beautiful kick to watch. So like it looks, he can kick like 60 off 1 or 2 steps, it looks like. So he should not be in the forward line. He's a really good halfback flanker, and he should be there. Like, does the new coach come in? Do they play him key position back as well? That could be another factor, or do they leave him in this halfback role? So it's an interesting one. He's currently in my team at the moment for 2023, but needs to tick a few boxes because he seems to be playing 3/4 halfback, and he's still averaging 112. It's ridiculous. So yeah, he's a scoring machine back there. So we'll see how it goes in preseason. Everyone's favourite player for fantasy and Supercoach, Lockheed Whitfield, priced at 86. Now, post-buy, if you take out the game, he had a 40 score, and that was where I think the coach said he had like carrying a hip issue or something, then missed the next 2 games. Priced at 86, but post-buy, if you take out the game he had before he was injured, he's done 112 average, and Giants are losing. So priced at 86, what's that, 470-ish? That's tempting. I know it's Lockheed Whitfield and never again, but he could start the season really hot. New coach this year, the full preseason. And the problem with the Giants is they don't tell us the injuries. They might tell us after when like they need to get dropped or something, but they don't state players are playing through injury, or why are they playing in the first place if they're injured. Like, why was Whitfield playing in the first half of the year? What was the point of that? Just rest him up and get him to come good. So yeah, he's still got that ceiling in him, old Lockheed Whitfield. So I do like him at 86 average. It's a hard one. Some people might just say hell no, never again, but he's pretty cheap and he can do well. He's probably going to be a trade at some point, but fully fit, he should start the season very well, and it could be a bad negative pod. We'll worry about that next year. That'll be a good one to debate. The next one, the last player on this list is Toby Green, done 90 a few times in the past, priced at 76, gone for off-season surgery, so maybe something was wrong with him. The interesting thing with Toby is he was a midfielder coming through in the draft in his first year in the Giants, and he did almost 100 average in his first year or second year, something like that. So I do like... Actually, no, I don't really like Toby Green as a pick. Obviously, suspension risk and a bit of an injury risk as well. But just one to watch if he gets a midfield role, but I don't think that will happen. So that is part 1 of players who I think are underpriced for Supercoach 2023. Let me know if you have any players you want me to speak about in the next video, or you have any players you have your keen eye on for 2023. So I think that's it. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.